Hi everyone, this is Tanya from Flying Dog Studio. Thank you so much for joining me as I start another Beatrix Potter study. This time I'm going to change it up just a bit. Now this is another one of her floral pieces, and you may hear in the background some thunder. We are having some thunderstorms where I live, so we'll try to make it through before I have to go to the storm shelter. But we are starting with the Fude de Mannen pen. I am going to go ahead and ink this. I know in the last piece I talked about some brown ink that she used. She used India ink, and she also used some brown ink, and I am using the Fude de Mannen pen, which she probably would have used a dip pen, but I'm using the Fude de Mannen because that bent tip allows me to get both thick and thin lines. Now a lot of this was a bit different from the last piece I did, and if you haven't caught that, I will link that down below, but that was very much a lining piece. This one, even though I have the pencil lines already drawn, it was actually more of a sketching piece. And we are going to start the painting just like we did last time. I have a border all the way around. Now I did make mine a bit larger than she did, and it goes outside my border lines. I'm going to be using the T, and again I have the aged Earl Grey. It's just what I had on hand. You can use any kind of tea. The brush I am using is my Winsor & Newton mop brush, and I believe I put 3 coats on this. So we're going to start with the first one, and the areas where I went outside the little border, you can see I'm going ahead and putting tea in that so that the look stays consistent with the rest of the piece. Now I forget to do that at the very bottom where the stem goes off the edge, but I do add that in later. Yes, this is the second coat, and then we will have one more coat and that will finish us up. Now we're going to get started with the painting, and here is something we are doing different. This is the Derwent Graphitint paints, and I love these graphite paints. I have my favorite brushes. I have the size 8 round, I have the size 2 round, which I don't use, and then at the side I am keeping my color swatching sheet just for reference. We're not using very many colors on this. We're starting with Meadow. That's going to be our base color for the greens, and with that graphite in there, it kind of has a yellow green tint to it anyway, but just to go ahead and make a good green, I'm going to add some ocean blue because that gives me kind of a blue green, and we need that in some of the darker green areas. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm also going to have an area on my palette that is just for the meadow. Since that is a good yellow green, I'm going to need that in some of the areas. I'm going to put just a basic wash on. I'm doing wet on dry, so the tea has dried between each of the layers. I didn't say that earlier, sorry about that. If you're going to paint the tea to make the paper look a little bit aged, then you're going to want to let it dry between the layers, and there were 3 layers. Now that the tea has completely dried, I'm coming back, the paper is dry, so I'm doing wet on dry. Now if you've never used the Graphitint before, I do recommend that you give it a swirl just like that. Give it a little bit of a swirl, get a bit of water on your brush, give it a bit of a swirl, because all of the little graphite and the pigments kind of separate once it sets in your palette for a bit, and you can kind of see it in a time lapse. You can see it just kind of separate and pull up, and you'll have dark areas and light areas. I really liked this blue green, but I needed it a bit lighter. So my solving of that problem is to take a little bit of it, put it to the side in a separate little mixing area, and add water to it. So I have the same color, it's just a few shades lighter. And I'm just going to go over all of the leaves. I won't talk through the whole thing, but you'll see I'm only going to use these colors right now, and I'm going to use all of the leaves because now that everything has been inked in, it's kind of confusing. And if you don't have the reference piece in front of you, and I will link that reference down below. I'm not going to link the exact reference, but I did get my references from the Victoria and Albert Museum website, so I will link that down below, and you can just kind of scan through Beatrix Potter's work. They have a whole section just with all of her pieces that they own. Some of them are on display and some of them are not, but it's worth a scroll through there just to see everything everything that she has. I haven't made it through the whole list, but I plan to. So I'm going to be quiet for now, and you can take a look at what I'm doing. I'm going to hop back on in a few minutes between the claps of thunder and lightning and tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing. I said earlier that I am working wet on dry, so the paper is dry and the, of course, color is wet. And this leaf in particular I wanted to talk about. You can see I'm putting color down. It is super wet. I have a lot of water in my brush, but I need it a bit darker. And as I said earlier, this color kind of separates. So right at the crease where we have the division of the wells, you can see the color has kind of pulled there. So I knew it was going to be darker. So I was able to come back on with that still being wet and drop that color in. Now the leaf in the center I just painted on, that leaf was dry. I already had the color down. It had dried, and I was able to come back and put dark on top. If you are going to add layers like that with graphitint, if you've never used graphitint, if you're going to add layers, you need to make sure that your bottom layers are completely dry. Otherwise, you will pull the color straight off the paper. I'm now adding some aubergine to the mix, and we're going to use that for the berries. That's going to be the primary color. I really liked the way these colors matched up with Beatrix's work because her colors, of course, I can't get the paint that she used. I watched a gentleman once that was painting, and he had spent, oh goodness, I'm trying to think, in US dollars, I think it was like 50 bucks to buy a tube of paint that was the same brand from the same year, it was still good, and he bought it on auction somewhere, and he was using that on a piece that he was doing like hers. I thought, oh my goodness. So I have been using watercolor, but I did want to do something a little bit different, and as I said, I'm using the Graphitint. I wanted to see, I was actually going to use the Derwent ink tints on this, but I looked at the colors and I thought, the Graphitint has more of an antique look to it, and that's what I want for this particular piece, and I felt like the colors matched up more to hers. While I want to try something a little different as I'm studying her work, I want to find something that can match for a style for myself. So I'm borrowing from her work, I'm borrowing her style, but I want to use the mediums that I really enjoy using, and I love Graphitint. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I'm going to be adding some other colors in as we're working on the stem. You're going to see I'm adding some graphite gray, and then I'm going to be bringing in some of the autumn brown, and a little bit of the russet comes in, and those are the colors I'm going to be finishing this up with, and they'll be down there under the palette. They'll pop up on the screen. I'll be quiet for a minute, and then I'll hop back on. Just a few more touch-ups. We're coming to the end of this piece, and by working around the piece as I've done, if you've watched me paint before, you know sometimes I like to skip around, and that's to give things time to dry so that I can come back and add other colors on top, and there's not a whole lot of wait time between drying. If you can do it that way, your piece, I found that works perfectly for me. So all of these areas have completely dried. That's how I'm able to add the russet, and that's how I'm able to add the autumn brown. And now I'm coming back and adding some more aubergine on top of what I've already done on those little berries. And these are areas, you'll see some of them are super dark. These are the areas that I had previously used the ink in, some of them, and I could tell that she inked some areas but came back and painted on top, and then some areas she didn't ink but she just put the watercolor on top. So it's been a really interesting study, and I'm enjoying her work. I hope that you will try some of these out. If you do, let me know in the comments below, because I would love to hear how you come out in your piece. I have really enjoyed working on this, and I I'm always happy when you're here. I do appreciate each and every one of you, your likes, your comments, they're encouraging. I love to hear how you are working on pieces and your favorite mediums. So let's share below and be a community that kind of helps each other out. I hope that you'll join me for the next one. My next piece up will be in my sketchbook of loose drawings, and I hope you'll join me for that one. Until then, I will see you in the next one.